Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. Yes, it's the latest lunchtime news update show. I'm Steve Hoare. Thanks for joining us today as we run through what's happening in and around Liverpool Football Club. Yes, the Reds have had a couple of days off, but we're back in training ahead of the Bournemouth game at the weekend. We'll touch upon that in a moment. A little bit of transfer stuff to go through as well as we crack on throughout the week. First of all, though, looking back towards yesterday, Liverpool have now been confirmed. Liverpool's opponents for the FA Cup fourth round have now been confirmed. For those of you who didn't see it, Norwich beat Bristol Rovers 3-1 in the third round. Replay, it means Jurgen Klopp and David Wagner, best of friends, will meet once again at Anfield on a week Sunday. So yeah, the Reds are going to be playing Norwich in the Cup. We've obviously got some fond memories of playing Norwich in the past. We played them in a couple of cup competitions recently as well, and just about got the better of them. But yeah, it was going to be Norwich or Bristol. Norwich I think they came from behind actually to win 3-1. They're having a little bit of an iffy time. Mid-table championship, 11th. I think they'd have wanted to be higher up than that, of course. They wanted to be straight back into the Premier League as soon as they could. They're not quite there yet, unfortunately. A couple of seasons now, and it looks like playoffs at best for them. So we'll see how seriously they take the FA Cup this weekend. Next weekend when they come to Anfield. Of course, Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp have played Norwich 7 times since 2015. They've won all 7 of those games. You think back to the Adam Lallana goal, that famous goal. Obviously, the last time played them in the FA Cup, they beat them 2-1 in the 5th round, and obviously went on to win the trophy in 2022. So yeah, Liverpool-Norwich is the game that we can all look forward to a week on Sunday. Before then, of course, we play Bournemouth and Fulham, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm guessing we're going to see a much changed Liverpool side for that game, given that they played Chelsea in the league just a few days later on the back, of course. That game will come out after Liverpool have played Fulham, so I'm guessing we'll see a few changes. But yeah, it is Norwich and not Bristol Rovers who Liverpool will be facing in that one. Just a quick one I mentioned before, didn't I, about the game at the weekend, and that Liverpool are back in training. Unfortunately, it looks like Dom Szoboszlai didn't train yesterday, the first day back at the AFCON. Now, of course, there's plenty of time to go until Liverpool do play Bournemouth. It's Sunday afternoon, so just because he didn't train on Wednesday doesn't mean Szoboszlai won't be involved. Liverpool still got quite a few days left before they have to go and travel down to Bournemouth. He's still got a couple of sessions that he could be involved in. But there was talk, I know he spoke himself, obviously he won the Hungary's version of the Sports Personality of the Year. I think it was the Hungarian Sportsman of the Year he won, and he said that he was trending towards maybe playing against Bournemouth, but also hinted that Liverpool are going to take it easy and make sure he's 100% right. My guess is now, given that he hasn't trained Wednesday, if he doesn't train today, obviously Liverpool haven't trained yet at time recording, Friday, you're probably looking at Liverpool are going to give it at least another couple of days with Szoboszlai. So the squad that Liverpool used just before the break, it looks like they might go back to that. So numbers are somewhat limited for the Reds. They had like 11 first team senior players, a couple of guys on the bench, and then a lot of young players. It looks like Liverpool might go to Bournemouth with a very similar squad. There was hopes that Szoboszlai would be one of those who could return, but it looks like it's probably trending towards not being that being the case, unfortunately. So yeah, Liverpool are going to have to go again with the guys they've got for Bournemouth. Then we'll see how he is for Fulham. But yeah, no training on Wednesday, which suggests maybe, well, he is definitely a doubt. You can't if he hasn't trained already after the break. But yeah, shame really, because Liverpool could do with the numbers back as they go into another very busy week. 2 big games. Bournemouth in the league, of course, the biggest game, but then a League Cup semi-final second leg against Fulham as well, another big game. So trending towards Szoboszlai not playing, it seems, at this point, which is a shame. But like I say, he said himself they don't want to rush anything and any case of re-aggravating any injuries or such. So best be careful with him. But Bournemouth away could be a very tough game as it is. They were in very decent form before they lost. I think Spurs beat them just before the break. But they'd won like 4 on the spin before that. They're a good team. And Liverpool are going to have to go down there with, unfortunately, it looks like Szoboszlai won't be involved in that one. Let's go to the comment section, guys. The live chat before we go on. I've got a couple of comments, questions, other points that you guys can I've been bringing up. Feel free to use the live chat throughout the show, by the way, get them in. Colin McVeigh says, "Hey, Steve, Let's say, hey Steve, we'll see you at the Redmen Live in Belfast. I can't wait for a great night. There you go. I agree, Colin. I can't wait to go there either. If you guys want to come and join me, Colin, but that's the most important two people, isn't it? Me and Cole, but also Paul and Chris are going to be there as well. And Keo, head on over to ticketmaster.ie. Just search Redmen TV. We're in Dublin on the 24th of March. We're in Belfast. No, flip that round. We're in Belfast on the 24th, Dublin on the 25th of March. So yeah, come and join us. Me, Colin, and the guys there for that one. Jonesy says, do you think City have the more favourable running? I mean, everyone's got to play everyone, is what I'd say on that one, Jonesy. And listen, it's a bit far away to start thinking about already. What I would say is that Liverpool have got a lot more of the bigger games that they have to face. Liverpool have got at home. City have got to come to Anfield, of course. We've seen Liverpool have already been to Tottenham. They've obviously played Newcastle. Chelsea have got to come. There's a lot of games where Liverpool are going to be playing at home. Liverpool have played a lot of the big teams away from home so far, like say, including City, obviously as well. So I think everyone's got too many games. Everyone's got to play everyone. It's so far away. We can start looking at a running, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't think that matters at this point in time, to be honest with you. I think by the time you get to the end of the season, which I know you're getting at, we'll see where we are. But it's too hard to say, if I'm honest with you. Brace DeVille says the Norwich game where Lallana scored the winner in stoppage time and broke Klopp's glasses celebrating. Yeah, that's one of those famous wins against Norwich under Jurgen Klopp. I say he's probably the most famous one, of course, but he's beat them every single time he's played them. Him and David Wagner are really good friends as well, so I'm sure they'll be happy to see each other, and hopefully, yeah, David rests some players as well. Let's have a little look. Dave said, don't remind me of the Tottenham game. I'm still salty about it. Yeah, sorry, Dave. I do apologise. Let's have a look. Who else is here? Mikey. Is it Mikey? I think it's Mike ZJH. Anyway, Mike's. Would you rather Salah win the AFCON and come back on a high, or go out in the groups so he's back earlier? From a completely 100% selfish point of view, I want him back early. Sorry, Mo. But I reckon winning the Premier League, winning the Europa League, winning the EFL Cup, maybe winning the FA Cup, it would maybe make Mo feel better. So I don't think he came back from AFCON in particularly great spirits last time. You know, getting beat in the final, I think they got beat. I think that maybe had a little bit of impact on him. For me, personally, again, I don't care who wins the AFCON. I've got no particular, preference to who wins it, really. So for me, get him back as soon as possible. I'd say the same for Endo with Japan as well over in the Asia Cup. I don't really care about who wins international tournaments anyway. I just watch them as a neutral when I do. So yeah, for me, I would be perfectly honest and say get him back as soon as possible. But Mo Salah would obviously disagree with that one, and he'll want to come back as a champion of the AFCON. Dave disagrees, says I'd love Mo to win the AFCON. It would mean so much to him, worth more than him being around for a couple more games. You say that, Dave, but it might not. You know, having Mo Salah might be the difference between a point or two in the league, and Liverpool have lost out on league titles by points or twos too often. So it goes both ways. Does he come back motivated, highly motivated, if he's had a bad AFCON and really wants to prove people wrong? Does he come back on top of the world, flying if they've won it, and then takes that form into Liverpool games? I don't know, but I'm just speaking with my point of view. I'd want him back as soon as possible. Joshua disagrees, says I'd rather him win the AFCON. We can manage without. Yeah, fair enough. As I say, they're both valid opinions. I'm just giving mine. I'd have him back as soon as possible. Right then, another quick news story before we talk about the main transfer story of the day involving Dembele. But yeah, just a quick one. Rhys Williams has gone to Port Vale on loan. Yeah, Jurgen Klopp said when he was recalled from his last loan that they were going to look to loan him out. He has now gone back out on loan to Port Vale. He's played 19 times for Liverpool, actually, including Premier League games and Champions League games. We all remember that COVID season 2021 when Rhys Williams and Nat Phillips helped Liverpool get over the line and qualify for the Champions League again. Since then, it's been a bit up and down for Rhys. He's had loans. You know, I think he went to Blackpool, he's been to Swansea. He was at Aberdeen earlier this year. That didn't work out for him as well. Where he's going to go down to Port Vale. Andy Crosby, who is the Port Vale manager, says Rhys comes into the squad, instantly enhances our defensive options with his quality. It is another example of clubs at the elite level seeing the way we treat players both on and off the pitch and the way we play as a team. They see Port Vale as an ideal home for their future talents and hopefully plays. Listen, I'll be honest with you now. I will be honest with you, I don't think Rhys Williams has got a long-term career at Liverpool. He's 22 years old. If he was going to have one, he probably would have had it by now. He's way down the pecking order. Jarell Quansah, who's younger than him, has came in and gone above him in the pecking order as well. But it's important for Rhys to go on and have a good career. Hopefully he does well at Port Vale, gets himself a transfer at some point down the line and goes on to have success, because obviously he was so vital to Liverpool back in 21. It's been a bit up and down for him since then, so fingers crossed. He does well at Port Vale and yet gets himself a move that he deserves and goes and earns himself a very, very good career. I don't think it's going to be at Liverpool. I don't think he's going to get them opportunities. But if Port Vale can be a springboard to somewhere else for him, maybe even a permanent transfer or something, then yeah, really, really good luck to him down there. Let's have a little look who else is in. Dave says, going back to the Salah point, he says, imagine Egypt win the AFCON, Japan win the Asia Cup, England win the Euros, and Liverpool win the Quad. And Mo, Endo, Trent, three-way for the Ballon d'Or battle. I mean, there's a lot of ifs, buts and maybes there, Dave, but yes, I'm all for it. I've been saying for a while, let's get Endo the Ballon d'Or. I think Japan actually probably will win the Asia Cup, if I had to guess. And listen, Jorginho got Ballon d'Or votes when Italy won it and Chelsea won the Champions League, so I'm all for it, mate. Let's get a Premier League title medal for Enzo. Let him win the Asia Cup as well, yeah. I'm all for even if he gets a single vote, that'll do for me. We're going to talk about OUSMANE Diomande. I said Dembele before, didn't I? Do apologise. Not Ousmane Dembele. That's a link of the past. It's OUSMANE Diomande. And talk about that at the moment. Mike says, if you could choose any centre-back to buy, who would you want? That's the $1 million question, isn't it, Mike? Realistically, who Liverpool have been linked with, I still think he could get a tune out of Levi Colwill. I know he's had a bit of an up and down time at Chelsea, but Chelsea are an absolute basket case of a club. Liverpool really like him, and I think Liverpool could get a tune out of him. I like Matt Gay at Crystal Palace. I think he's been linked as well. They would be both two decent options. I know Inacio at Sporting's been linked as well. From what I've seen of him, could be a good buy. So I personally don't know. I do think Liverpool should sign one. I would like them to sign one this month, if I'm honest. It appears that we're edging towards that not being the case, but we'll see. However, one name who Liverpool are keeping tabs on, I know Dan mentioned this guy briefly on yesterday's news show. Since then, David Lynch, reporter, has been writing for The Athletic and says Liverpool are keeping tabs on Sporting CP's OUSMANE Diomande as they consider defensive reinforcements for the summer, and that's important clarification there. They're looking at the summer, apparently. The 20-year-old has clocked up 38 appearances. This is Anfield, by the way, if I didn't mention it. The 20-year-old has clocked up 38 appearances for the Portuguese Giants since he moved from Midtjylland last January for a move that cost €12.5 million. He says, this is Anfield, understands he's come onto the radar of the Reds recruitment staff as a result, and Liverpool could be on the market for defensive reinforcements in the summer as they prepare for the departure of Joel Matip, obviously out of contract in the summer and obviously dealing with a serious knee injury that he's on his way back from. So it feels like we're edging towards Liverpool's due diligence being that they're going to do something in the summer rather than now. I get it from a squad point of view. They think they've probably got enough. They think the defensive options they've got added to Conor Bradley and, Joe, so playing at right back, which means Joe Gomez doesn't have to go out there as much. It'll look a lot rosier come the end of January, as and when touchwood Trent, Tsimikas and Robertson are back, because then Joe Gomez is officially just a centre-back, and then in which case you've got four of them, and then you should be fine. You've even got Nat Phillips as an emergency fifth choice option. For me, the worry is that you're one injury away from a real crisis at the moment in time. And listen, Joe Gomez and Ibu Konate's injury records aren't exactly unblighted. Jarell Quansah's a young lad taking his first real step into elite level footy. I know he spent some time last year on loan at Bristol, but now he's playing Premier League, he's playing Cup semi-finals, he's playing European football. How's his body going to react? I know he's a little bit older and he's massive and he's a unit, but we have seen the likes of Stefan Bajcetic's body let him down a little bit when he was asked to do too much. So from a personal point of view, I would feel a lot more comfortable if Liverpool could get a deal done now. It appears that they're looking towards the summer, and that's where Diomande, I suppose, it makes sense in that Liverpool are quite happy with Konate and Van Dijk as their first choice. It's obvious they are. And then Gomez as like the senior backup option. And then if you go Quansah and Diomande as like young players, that's still 5 centre-backs. That is still quite a lot. But at least if you get a young lad who you can drip in and out of the team, it might be a bit more easy. I think it would be really hard to say to a 25, 26-year-old, come in and get yourself, a second, third choice, depending on how good they are. So I can see what that might be the route to going down. But MK says, I'd love someone in January, but not a stopgap. It'd have to be if someone, our boy is only available in the summer, then I think I'd wait. And that's kind of where Liverpool always do things. I think if there was a deal to be done, they must have somebody lined up to be Joel Matip's replacement. They must. And if that person can be brought in January rather than the summer, and you can push the button on it, then I completely agree. But I also agree, you don't want to just sign a dog's body for the sake of it. I think Liverpool squad is very, very strong. So it's one of those, it should look, I'm trying to think the best way to put it. You don't sign players just because other lads are injured, really. That's how you end up with Ozan Kabak and Ben Davies. I know that it just doesn't work. We might be edging towards that point, which is my worry, really. If one more injury, you might have to go down that road, and it very rarely ever pays off for you. But if they're looking towards the summer and someone like a Diomande who you think they want in the summer, is he available now? Now, Sporting might not be willing to sell him, and I don't blame them. Why would they at this point in the season? They've only just paid for it. He's only been there a year, and they probably think they can make up even more money. They're already going to, it cost them €12.5 million. They might double that already. They might be able to get more down the line. So it's one of those where I can see why Liverpool are looking towards this one. I would just be more personally, I'd feel a little bit at ease if they did get one this month. It just feels like, and I was speaking to Neil Jones about this on Journal Insight over on Redmen Plus the other day, about like the market is very, very slow for everybody at the moment. I don't know if it's a lack of cash. Obviously the FFP, PSR stuff, we've seen Everton and Nottingham Forest fall foul of it, and maybe teams are taking that a bit more seriously than they were. Maybe that's what's happening as well. But it doesn't feel like there's too much movement for anyone. Spurs have signed a couple of players, and other than that, it's been a very quiet January for the whole Premier League. Now, AFCON and Asia Cup play into that as well, of course. There's a big pool of players there who you can't get at this moment in time. So it doesn't feel like we're ramping up towards a massive January for anybody, really. You look at, Chelsea under investigation. Who knows what's happening with City? Man United, there's ownership issues. Arsenal are apparently limited in terms of their FFP stuff, given the big outlays they spent in the summer as well. So it feels like it's a very slow market. And if that's the case, then Liverpool might just hang on. No one desperately needs to sell. The Saudi stuff feels like it's slowed down a bit as well. So I just feel in general the market is slow. So, and that tends to suggest everyone's quite either comfortable where they're at, or they haven't got the money for it, or they haven't got the ability to get the players they want. And I agree. The last thing Liverpool needs to do is panic buy someone crap. They should get the player they want, and if they can get him, go and get him. So that would be my suggestion for it. Going back to my question earlier, Mark says, you're absolutely right, Steve. Thanks very much, Mark. Canate and Gomez are likely to get injured now between now and the end of the season. We should be replacing Matip now. And I agree. I think if they can get that deal done, they absolutely should be. I just don't know who that player is. And Liverpool have shown in the past they are willing to wait for the right guy rather than rush. They don't get it right when they rush. It never works. It just doesn't work. So if they have to wait a little bit longer to get who they want, then they should. They did it with Canate. They did it with Van Dijk. Though they are now our two starters. They've done it before. They always will try and do that if they have to. But if they can get someone brought forward like they did with Diaz, or like they did with Cody Gakpo when they were summer deals brought forward, and that, of course, I can't think of a single Liverpool fan who would be against doing that, if truth be told. So yeah, that's where we're at with it. But yeah, it looks like OUSMANE Diomande is one to watch, according to David Lynch. David Lynch is a very good, reliable reporter. He'll know exactly where he's getting his stuff from. He says Liverpool are doing their due diligence ahead of making that big decision, and Diomande is among one of the number of talented centre-backs they're keeping an eye on. Lille teenage defender Lenny Yoro has also been linked as well. I must admit, I don't know too much about him. I've seen the name banded about. But yeah, even the thing with Diomande says here, he's a chance to add to his burgeoning reputation this month as he represents Ivory Coast in the AFCON. He played 77 minutes of the nation's opener. They beat Guinea-Bissau 2-0 at the weekend. So even if he was the one, he's on AFCON duty, and that might be playing a part in this as well. He's the one they want. They really, really want. I felt like I was singing a Spice Girls song there. He's the one they want, and then they decided to get themselves him. They're not going to get him now. They'll wait. If you think he's the business and he's the guy they want, who knows? If he's the one, then yes, they will wait for him. They're not going to rush into it. Like Lee says, strengthen the team now. That's all soundly, and listen, I think we'd all agree with it. Who that person is a different kettle of fish altogether, isn't it? Who do they go and get? Can they get them done? Is the deal there to be done? Because Liverpool are top of the league in all the competitions still. Strengthening the first team is going to be very, very difficult. There are no obvious weak points in Liverpool's team where you think they have to go. When Liverpool are fully fit, are there any weak points in the squad? Really? It's hard to see. And that's the issue. If you're a new player wanting to come in, you go, am I going to go to Liverpool and be 18th man? Because who are we buying who's absolutely better than everything Liverpool have got right now? It's really hard. Liverpool have got a really good team and Liverpool have got a really good squad. Everything else isn't. You're looking at the future when players leave. So when a Matip leaves and a spacer becomes available, and I know he's injured now and that does free things up, but I'm thinking, if I'm a centre-back looking at Liverpool, am I going, Van Dijk and Konate play, they've got Gomez, who's an established player. They obviously really love Jarell Quansah as well. Now, obviously, as a new player, you would back yourself to get in the team, of course, and that's exactly what you should do. But I'm seeing it from their point of view. They might go, why don't I just wait till the summer, get myself a full pre-season with Liverpool, and then get myself in the team that way, rather than being dropped in last minute. The manager's playing so many games, there's hardly any training time, all that kind of stuff. That's where I'm at. James says Liverpool squad is not better than 2019, so it's definitely got flaws and needs strengthening. It's just hard to pick. It's hard to pick the type of player who does that though, and who's available in the January window. Because I think for Liverpool to get a player into Liverpool's first team when everyone's fit, is that like a £75 million player? Really? You can't get a better goalie. Don't worry about that. Centre back's going to be really tough to get someone better than Konate. You're not getting better than Van Dijk. Doesn't exist. There's no such player. Left backs, is anyone who's going to come in and be immediately better than Andy Robbo? Good luck. Right back, all the best. Liverpool have got the best one of those already. Midfield options, who's going to come in midfield and be better than what Liverpool have got now? Hard to figure that one out, if I'm honest. Up front, Liverpool have got 5 amazing forward options. That's the point. It's all well and good saying we need it now. And I agree. I think Liverpool are taking a risk at centre-back, especially with Joe Gomez being the full-back. But it's all ifs and buts and maybes, and that's the problem. It's like, who is it? Who's that player? I'm still yet to see a substantial transfer link of someone who gets into Liverpool's team. Diomande would be one for the future. He wouldn't be one for now. He's a young kid, centre-half. Who is the player now who comes in and goes, bang, there you go. Who you go and get, and you can get from January. No, it's hardly available. It's not there, and that's I think a lot of teams are finding that frustration out. Arsenal seem to want a centre forward. They're finding that tough. No real links there. Even Tony's the latest link, and he's what? Brentford are asking for £70 million for him. Like, maybe, and Lisa's there, Inacio, yeah, but is he going to come and play? If you're Inacio, are you going to come to Liverpool and sit on Liverpool's bench? If you're his agent, do you think, go in January, not play for 6 months, and then get a move? Or do you say, stay at Sport and have a really good end of the season and then get your move in the summer? He's got a release clause, so if anyone wants him, he's still going to be there. This is the thing with the January window, especially with Liverpool in so many competitions. It's going to be really hard to even be on the training pitch. So it is a difficult one. I'm with you. I would just go and buy him now. If it's not my money, if I'm Liverpool, I'll go, right, bang, there's the release clause. Do you fancy it? It doesn't always work that way, unfortunately. It's not Championship Manager. When Liverpool are flying, they'll be fine. They've got too many injuries at the moment. But Jürgen did say in his press conference, we don't buy players to replace injured players because those injured players have got to come back. So it's a difficult one. But yeah, Diomande, keep watching the AFCON, keep watching the Portuguese League if you want to, and keep an eye on it. It looks like he's one of the ones who are on the radar. If I had to guess, I'll be honest, I don't think they're going to sign anyone unless someone gets injured. So in a weird way, I don't want anyone to get injured, so I hope they don't. But that's where I'm at with it. I think Liverpool are okay with what they've got right now. They could just really do with getting players fit, because they're on a razor's edge, really. One more injury in any position, really, especially with the guys away at AFCON and Asia Cup, and you're like, it's getting tight. It really is. But We'll see how it all pans out. There's still plenty of time in the window. Something could happen late. We'll keep tracking it, of course, every single day here on the news shows. Thanks, you guys, for joining me for this one. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you with me. Please do drop a like on the video on the way out, and come back tomorrow for another one of these shows. See you then.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the content today. If you want to get your name in and amongst these wonderful people, then head to redmenplus.com. Join as a Legend tier subscriber. You're going to get free merchandise codes. You're going to get in our Discord, and you're going to get your name at the end of YouTube videos. Yes, redmenplus.com, Legend tier status.